Hey guys, it's Em and I'm coming at you with my cook with me for my chicken enchilada soup. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I make my chicken enchilada soup, then stay tuned for the video. Guys, so ingredients you will need is some chicken breast. I use the skinless, boneless. I'm going to talk more about chicken breast as I get into the recipe. This has 4 breasts in it. I think last time I made it, I only had 3 breasts, but what I end up doing after I make this soup is I pull out the chicken and I weigh it, and then I edit my recipe because that's the only thing that varies in my recipe is the amount of chicken based on what I'm using. Next thing you will need is some chicken broth. I use the reduced sodium. These are 900 milliliter jugs and I'm going to be using 2 of them. You will need the LaCostena green Mexican sauce. I use the whole container. You'll need all-purpose crushed tomatoes. I actually only use half of this can, so this size here, you could use a smaller can, or you could double the recipe and then use the full one. I use a full can of pinto beans. I just realized I have the wrong beans out. There we go. You need a can of pinto beans. You'll need a can of corn, or about 1 cup of corn. You'll also need a crock pot, as this is a crock pot recipe. You'll also need half a brick of fat-free cream cheese. This is because I already made this soup about a week and a half ago, so I still have the other half here, so you'll need that as well. Okay, so first things first, you will put your 2 containers of chicken broth in here. Then you're going to put your whole jar of this inside. This is what gives it, I think, the best, like, more authentic Mexican flavor. It is what causes it to be quite spicy. So if you aren't good with spice, you could do less of this and more tomatoes, or you could add more cream cheese or even a bit of cashew milk or something to dilute that spice. But I'm good with spice, my husband's good with spice, so pour that baby all the way in there. It smells so good. Half the can of crushed tomatoes. You can put more or less of this, like I said. The tomatoes are 0, so. Then what you're going to do is take your can of pinto beans and your can of corn, and you're going to rinse them in a strainer. So I'm going to do that and I'll come back with both. Alright, so I've got them here. I'm just going to pour them in. Then you're going to take your cream cheese and you're going to cut it up pretty finely. Just kind of like make it into like little rectangles. So you're going to put all of that in here. And then, oh, I forgot, I usually put the chicken in first. Okay, add your chicken breasts. I'm just going to give that a bit of a stir. Cream cheese doesn't stick to the bottom. Right, so what I usually do is I set this on high for about 4 hours. Now this is 8 o'clock, so these aren't frozen chicken breasts. Sometimes when I use frozen, it will take the whole 4 hours, but probably in about 2 hours I can come and pull these chicken breasts apart. So I'll pull them all out, Then I'll pull the chicken breasts apart when they're cooked, and I'll weigh the meat. Once I weigh it, I change it in the app to make sure that the recipe is still the same. Usually still is about 3 points for a cup serving of this soup. It yields about 12 to 13 cups of soup. I will remeasure it before I post this with this exact recipe and the points on it based on the 4 chicken breasts, and then I'll also say how much the chicken breasts weighed. But what I do is I will pull it all apart once the chicken's cooked, and I tend to make this in the evening. So once the chicken's cooked, I reset my crock pot to low to cook overnight. When it cooks overnight, the beans kind of break up and give it a little bit more of a, I don't know how to explain it other than if you were to eat it when it's just warmed, it wouldn't have the same flavor as if the chicken had cooked overnight and gotten like the beans and all the flavors work together. The beans kind of break apart a little bit, and it just is perfect once it's been cooking overnight. So I'm going to go ahead and actually I'll just kind of stir this quick. Okay, so I got that stirred. What I'm going to do is wash my hands. I'm going to close this up and set it on high for, I think the shortest amount of time is for 4 hours. And I will see you back here when the chicken's been cooked and I can pull it apart and weigh it. I've got my scale, I've got my cutting board, and I'm going to see if this chicken is ready. I don't think it is, but we'll see. Nope, it's not ready. And I want to go to bed, so I might just let this come apart tomorrow and stir it up then and let it simmer for another couple hours because I'm tired.
You talking to me?
No, I'm not talking to you, husband of mine. Alright guys, it's the next morning and the soup looks and smells delicious. I'm just giving it a good whisk to kind of whisk it all together, get the cream cheese in there a little bit better since I didn't do it the night before. But it all did turn out amazing, so don't worry about that too much. I'm just giving it a good whisk, like I said, and then I'm going to go through and pull out all the chicken and pull it apart. I'm going to speed up this part real fast for you guys so that you can see it without knowing how long it took me, because I could not find my tongs this morning, so I was fishing it out with 2 forks. It definitely is a lot easier to pull out the night before, but it is what it is, and it is so delicious and so worth it. So yeah. Alright guys, so I'm just giving it one good whisk now that I have all the chicken out and it's all pulled apart. I have it weighed, I believe, off the top of my head, it was about 440 grams of chicken breast. Don't quote me on that, I'll put it right here on the screen. And it worked out to be a good amount of ounces. I'll put that as well. But yeah, I'm going to whisk up the soup, make sure that all the chicken's out. I think I found a piece of fat in there, so I was pulling that out. And yeah, I'm going to incorporate the chicken and stir it all up really good. And I will show you guys once it's all done. Alright guys, so here is the finished soup. It looks and smells and tastes delicious. This is 14 cups of soup and it is 3 smart points per cup. And I cannot wait to dig in, and I will show you guys how I top it next. This is what makes my soup just up a notch. I put 26 grams of feta cheese. This is how much it looks to be. I do find I get more when I weigh it out for 1 smart point. I can have 4 teaspoons of the 1% sour cream, which is fat-free. It is 1 smart point. And I can have 26 grams of avocado for 1 smart point as well. I think you can go up to 28, and it actually is about half of my avocado. If you're wondering what an avocado looks like when it's ripe, this is what it would be. It's not too firm, it has to be a little bit soft. Anything too soft might be overripe and have dark brown spots. That is not yummy and not delicious. You could pick around it, but you want to avoid that. I weighed out my things on my Weight Watcher scale, and I find I just get more for my points if I weigh out my feta cheese and my avocado. Lastly, I like to top my soup with some Tostitos bite-sized rounds. I believe you can have 18 of these for 2 smart points. Don't quote me on that. I will put that right below. I just started using these ones the other day, but you can adjust your point value to your liking. So if you only want 1 point, 2 point, 3 points, you can do that. Alright guys, so this is my 1 cup of soup. 1 cup of this soup is 3 smart points, and it yielded 14 cups of soup, like I said, and each cup is 3 smart points, so that is great. You can top with as little or as much as you want to bulk up your points, but this is just what I'm doing. So for 26 grams of feta, it is 1 smart point. So we're at 4. I also add in 4 teaspoons of sour cream for 1 smart point, so then that will be 5. And then 27 grams of avocado, which is another smart point, so that is 6. I like to try to keep all of my toppings to a point each. It gets easy to go overboard with toppings, but I feel like these are all just the right amount. And lastly, I like to add my chips. I am doing 17 chips for 3 smart points. So this soup is 9 smart points for my whole bowl, but it is so filling and so delicious. You definitely don't need as many chips as I had, but I just had the points and I wanted to indulge. And yeah, it's dinner time, so why not? Alright guys, so when I go to have my soup, just wanted to show you a little tip and trick. I like to take a couple of my nachos and sprinkle them over top of my soup instead of leaving the chips right in the soup. I feel like this makes your chips go further and your point values smaller. So anyways, I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching this video. I tried doing my cook with me a little bit differently this time, and I hope you guys enjoyed it better. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys soon for my next video. Bye!